Men, love your wives as Christ loved the church. Do you know what it means to have Christ love? Jesus never treated anyone as beneath him. He didn't treat, because when you think about it like that, reason it, you realize that this is literally just patriarchy. With no sensible, reasonable backing. They just use their idiocracy to define a version of submission.
Parents didn't really give a good example of what marriage should be. Recently, we heard of the story of this woman that is doing so well, but she was killed by the husband. Why did you stay till they killed you?
There are some parents, you can't even tell them about your relationship status. The only thing you do is bring the person when you're ready for marriage. Mommy, this is the person I'm getting married to. And that's just it. For a woman to be fulfilled, you need to get married. Students after secondary school, they're not even thinking of going to the universities. They want to get married.
Hi, I'm Ahitabel.
Hi, I'm Emaidio.
Hi, I'm MM.
And welcome to Truth in
Bikinis. Where we strip down life's toughest issues to its core truth.
Well, at least the ones that affect women. And today we're going to be talking on the topic from bride to prisoner, when marriage is forced but divorce is forbidden.
Why is marriage seen as the ultimate validation for a woman in Nigeria, even when it costs her peace?
Well, I just think it's the system we've come to see. I can't really get to know, or I haven't really done research to know the history of Nigerians before, different things were imposed. And I feel a lot of that history is actually lost. A lot of it is lost media, because you want to take things simply as even the Ibibio we speak today or the Ibibio we write is not originally what was there. Because I think white people came and they were like, oh, you guys do it like this, even adjusted our own language. So I feel that also may have adjusted our traditions and our history too. And we would never know. We've come to see it, we've come to know it, we've come to accept it. We've come to internalize it and normalize it like it's just something we do. Even if it doesn't align with everybody. Because as much as we have the ability to, be in a submissive situation of just being married and having that servitude, it's not something that suits everybody. Because if every role a man and a woman were supposed to have, that people can naturally fall into it based on their gender, then people would not be having marital problems. There wouldn't be issues if that's the way it's supposed to be and that's the natural way. Because when you think about it, a lot of people are forcing themselves into these boxes, into these desires. Even if you yourself as a woman, you know that everybody's telling you need to be like this, do like this, and you need to live your life a certain way, even if it doesn't just
sit well with you.
Not even sit well, it just doesn't even align with your personality. There are some women that are very self-centered, very vapid, very vain. Do you think, I'm not looking at that woman and thinking, oh, what a wonderful mother. I'm not seeing her deeply caring about her husband or her children. Those type of people should be the people that those type of people
they probably should be allowed to live their lives.
They should be allowed to live their life. They can be child free, and it's not a problem. They are just fine. But
then you try to put them in that box.
What happens is that they end up raising children with abandonment issues, a lot of psychological issues, because their mom was self-centered. I literally watched a movie like that the woman, like when she was 15, she had a child. She got pregnant by this random guy that she started sleeping with because she didn't get the guy she wanted. And the guy was dumb and useless, honestly, to be very, very honest. And he also had a drug problem, but she didn't know at the time. So when she told her parents, her parents don't feel, she lied. Mind you, she does not like this man. She doesn't want to be with him. In fact, she wanted to get rid of the child, but she couldn't afford. Something happened that she couldn't get rid of the child. So in order to console her parents in a way, she said, oh, we are in love and we are getting married. Because that's a more societal, acceptable
position,
thing. She married this man, had a child with him. he had drug problems. She found out that affected them in the marriage, and even when she wanted to leave him, her father was still telling her to like stay, just, we can help him, we can do this, all those things. Eventually she did have to leave him, but she couldn't go to college anymore. She couldn't go for a high school prom. There are so many things she missed out on because of this simple decision that she made. Like having the child played a big part, but her also being with him, he drew her back a whole lot.
Obviously.
And the only reason why she did marry him, the only reason why she kept that child was because these were things that were in a way expected from her as the acceptable route to go. So she was a horrible mother. She was a horrible, very self-centered mother. And her son had a very bad relationship with her growing up. And I just feel, we tend to grow on these things and accept these things, even when...
I think another thing is that even though tradition has played a huge part in that system or the way of things, I kind of feel like media too hasn't helped a lot. We watch Nollywood movies, and there's that young girl that everybody's saying, when are you getting married? And everybody's just pushing, and especially in Nollywood epic, there's always that expectation, like, look at you, that just got married. When is, we grew up watching some of these movies, and then you think that even though you think that it's not doing something to your mind, on just unexpectedly, your mind has already been programmed to just see it that way. So it's like, oh, I'm 22. Once I get to 25, I'm going to find my prince, something like that. And then we are going to get married. And then, and then there's no real work being done on you as a woman. There's no real development as a woman. So I think the media hasn't really done
much to help
that.
I feel the family and society, they create a whole lot of emphasis. They make emphasis on marriage and make it look as the normal ideal something. So a lady that is 18, 19, the society already asking questions. The family are already asking questions. When are you getting married? When are you getting married? And there is one thing about we humans, when people tend to ask us things consistently, when we get home and on our quiet time, we tend to reason those things again and again and again. And so when people keep asking,
if you don't have a mind of your own to an extent,
it will stop you. So when you keep asking people these questions, that would definitely push that lady into someone that she was even trying to watch his character. So since the whole family, you have a man now, you can continue, just bring the man, what is remaining? So the lady will just jump into the marriage, fine, my family, the society, and like the Nollywood you said, the Nollywood, they kind of replicate the society, what is happening. So what they are showing is what is happening in the society. And we watching this thing or seeing these movies, we are kind of, this is what is really happening. So as a young girl, if you are 18, the next thing now is marriage. If you are 19, the next thing is marriage. Some students after secondary school, they are not even thinking of going to the universities. They want to get married because that's the main goal. That's the normal thing.
I don't even think I can visually think of a Nollywood movie with a female main character without a love interest, without a getting married is somehow they go.
Somehow.
There's always, marriage is always involved. If there is a female lead involved, there has to be love. There has to be marriage. There has to be love. There has to be problem. There has to be something in their love life.
So what they are trying to say is that for a woman to be fulfilled, you need to get married. So no matter what you're doing, no matter how your husband, whatever, marriage should be there. So, and that should be, they even give you a time from maybe from 20 up. When it's 30, it's too late. So that's how the society, arrange this marriage stuff for women. And it's really affecting so many because the whole divorce of a thing, wrong marriages is just pressure. So when people are pressurized into all these wrong marriages, it affects the ladies. So the family should try and work things out and should stop pressurizing ladies. Just give them time to search for their prince charming themselves and know the right one, not just pushing them.
Not even search for prince charming. Give them time to get ready.
Why is it that a woman's worth is still tied to her marital status in the great year of 2025?
Well, can't say. I think I mean it just still boils down to all of the things that we just said.
Yes.
That the fact that the society keeps hammering this thing, the traditions, of old. So we just keep hearing it over and over and over and over again. And over time you've just seen women who just cannot. I mean, you find women in marriages now. I mean, recently we heard of the story of this woman that is doing so well. But she was killed by the husband.
Yeah.
Why did you stay till they killed you?
It's not even that. Why is it that situation seems so more acceptable on the internet than a situation of someone that is child-free, marriage-free? I don't know if you've seen that trend. 21 with no kids, that song, like, he was praising the girl he likes that she's 21 and she doesn't have any kids. So people will jump on that trend and show off their age and show off the fact that they don't have kids. People of 40, people of 35, expressing how being child-free was one of the best decisions they ever made in their life. Because they just say it based on themselves. Not like they're trying to hate on anybody or impose. They're just saying that, this was a really good decision for me. See women in the comment section. I have 6 children and I even look hotter than you. My body is nicer than yours. Did the person tell you that they didn't have kids because of their body? Like, you're projecting your own insecurities, your own problems with it. And I feel a lot of the times it comes from a place of bitterness. Because if you're very secure in the decisions you've made, you're not going to go online and see somebody that has made an alternate decision
and you are
for
affected.
some odd reason is threatening you.
Yeah.
You understand? That's not normal. Like, if I ever see someone on the internet that makes an alternative choice than me, that maybe probably was even a better choice, I'll be like, that's so nice. I wish I made that decision. But I'm glad. I'm happy for you that you're living in that. Or even if it's something I don't like, I'm like, oh, okay, that's her life. That's their life.
Yeah, that's your life.
And you just scroll.
And you know what? One thing in Nigeria, I think the rate of divorce now in Nigeria should be around 70-30. Why? That's because most women place their worth on this marriage, even when they are not ready. And when you're not ready for something, you can't be successful in that place, that particular place.
Marital just mentioned the fact that the picture of a woman getting killed in marriage, which is becoming something that is more rampant now, is a little bit better acceptable societally than the picture of a woman deciding to maybe walk away from a marriage that is troublesome, or even deciding to remain single.
How would someone even remain in a marriage that will end up taking her life for crying out loud?
People are not. I like to say that people are not very black and white. Systems, states of people's mind, their emotional states, their psychological states play a whole lot into these things. There's this thing we call a trauma bond.
Yes, trauma bond.
Or even things like what they call that thing, Stockholm syndrome.
Yes,
Stockholm syndrome was coined from these people. They were kept hostage in a place called Stockholm. Like, they were robbers and they kept people hostage. They were like, give us the money or we'll kill all these people. Let us go, we'll kill all these people. And after these people got to know the people that are literally threatening their lives, like talking to them, they themselves, when they got released, they were like, oh, don't arrest them. They grew an attachment to these people. That's why they call it Stockholm syndrome. People that grow attachment to their kidnappers, to their oppressors, to their abusers. It's like, I don't even know where it comes from. I don't know whether it's a mixture of that trauma and maybe that emotional relatability you may have to that person, or trying to understand. Or even a trauma bond is simply just this person has put you through so much that it creates a similar situation of you being with someone through the hard times. Like, for example, now me and Emma, now we decide we are best friends, we are joined by the hips, and so many things come our way, and we beat those obstacles, and we are able to go to the other side. It's kind of a similar, and then it now makes me like, Emma has been there with me, and I don't want to lose her because of the thick and thin. It's a similar feeling, but this person is your abuser.
negative,
It's negative.
And you're getting used to it.
Yeah, you're getting used to it. You're getting used to that person. You're stuck with it. Your brain, it now registers as something you know, something you're comfortable with. The brain doesn't like change.
It's like the devil you know is better than
This
the
lady that was pleading with the with people to help beg her sister to come and plead with her husband. She's 7 months pregnant, and then the husband beat her up. So when she reported to her sister arranged men to beat up the husband. And then the husband got upset and said he will be sending her out of the house. She pleaded with the husband. The husband said, until your sister comes and plead with you. Yes, and apologize. So she begged the sister. The sister said, are you stupid? You expect me to apologize to your husband who beat you up with a 7-month
pregnancy.
And she said that she knows all this thing happens in every home. Most women said that
even that's how home used to be. Me, I don't
She said that she's used to it. That why she just reported to her sister, because her sister is, I think, the remaining family she has. So if she leaves now, where will she go to that day? Sister is not after her happiness. That everybody should try and beg the sister. That this rain, it falls everywhere. People are saying it's not everywhere, not in my own house. Carry your own.
I think it's the old Stockholm syndrome, the old trauma bonding, because there's no other explanation that one would give for someone who intentionally remains in a situation that is potentially life-threatening.
Yeah, because that's
why people should think beyond like them being there. You should see that they are not just there, they are trapped. And if you have somebody that's in a situation like that, you should do everything in your power to try and help them get out. Whether it's snapping your friend's wound and sending it to the police, encouraging them to go to therapy to be able to view it properly, the way that it should be viewed. You understand? Or showing them proper examples of love. So when they go back to their partner, they realize that this is not
love.
This is not love.
There are some people that might not even want to learn. They don't want to leave. They just like that place. They just want
like
to
I said, I think it's psychological.
A whole lot has contributed to people getting to that that spot. A whole lot has contributed to it. There are people who grow. We don't talk about these things enough. You know, parents didn't really give a good example of what marriage should be.
Like.
You know, people grew up in a place where when your father comes, everybody takes off. You know, and then he has this particular chair, nobody sits on it. And he's like bring the food. Nobody's breathing when he's around, and then when he's done eating, as in come and remove my shoe. And then marriage was just, it talks to the mother and then she lies down, like you were saying, someone who is pregnant and is kneeling down to serve the husband because. And then the brother says that's an example of a good woman. Well,
a good respectful
woman,
yes.
You know. And so these are the pictures children had growing up. Most children had growing up. They had pictures of men speaking down, their fathers speaking down at their mothers. And so they of course, a child thinks that's a normal way to behave. A child thinks that's okay, and then the mother sat still and would just beg, and then would just cajole the man, beg him, rob, or, the lord of the house, And so they give that picture, and then, of course, these children grow up and they are like, this is the normal way. Even if you're beaten, stay.
Just stay.
Even if you are hit by your husband every time. My mother stayed. Yes, my mother
endured.
Yes.
You cannot be like my mother.
And so, so all of these things have kind of contributed to it. And then it comes to the point where maybe the woman doesn't even have any source of income. She relies on the husband for everything. Why not? Why won't you be trauma bonded? There's no way out of it. And then all of those things just messes up your psychology, messes up your emotions, and then you're stuck.
And sometimes if you come from that kind of a family, how will you report? You don't have support, because when you go there, your mother will tell you, my dear, that's the same thing I passed through and I survived it.
Yeah.
So remain. That is so true.
Yes.
I went through that. You shouldn't even pick up. No, don't even
I
say
don't like that thing so
again.
much, because so many African parents they'll go through struggle, and because of maybe the level of struggle they went through, they invalidate their child's struggle. They'll be like, you, me, like when their child can come with a genuine problem, like, hey, Mom, I don't like the way my husband is treating me. He's emotionally abusive. He has hit me. He does all these things that make me go mentally insane. And the mother will be like, do you know what your father did to me? Do you know what I endured through that marriage? And I stayed. And I stayed till he passed away. I stayed.
Stay till I even up to that.
Till he passed away.
Now, still stay.
They say it's like there's this magical award you get. As if it's not suffering.
So that's the picture of submission,
Yeah.
That's the picture of submission that most women have. And of course, most men have. Because, my daddy did it to my mother.
It's like,
how dare you speak up when I talk?
They'll always...
My mother didn't speak up.
They'll always mention that submission thing. Like, as if, like... Wait, though. Think about it like this. When you reason it, that scripture now that they always use, it starts with men, love your wives as Christ loved the church. You will never... Do you know what it means to have Christ love? Yeah. That is the most sacrificial, the most deepest kind of like. It's selfless. It's the type of love that
and he even said, "Give your lives." He said, "You will give your life for them." The same way Christ did.
Yeah. So it's like it's the kind of love that even if Jesus is the type that even if you carry your hand and slap him, he'll come and hug you. He will hug you. He'll say, "You're hot. I love you." That is what. Do you understand when the expectation that the Bible even has for men is much higher?
It's much higher.
And then women, their own is submit. There's how it is like if you were around someone like Jesus, that submission would come naturally.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like control. It doesn't feel like slavery because he doesn't treat you. Jesus never treated anyone as beneath him.
Yeah.
He didn't treat... Because when you think about it like that, reason it, you realize that this is literally just patriarchy.
Yeah.
With no sensible, reasonable backing. They just use their idiocracy to define a version of submission. Yeah. When it's not even like when you even just the thing is...
Okay, so let me ask, so what conversation are we not having with our daughters about timing, readiness, and purpose in marriage? Like, there are conversations I think that we should have with young women. Yeah, it shouldn't just be about, okay, you are old enough, get married. It shouldn't just be about, people just will say, okay, they count it by age. How about growing up? How about developing yourself?
There are people that are 40
it's okay to wait.
16.
How about you get
Yes.
Recently there's a young girl, something happened recently on TikTok. This girl sees she's awake at night and she says that 3 of her neighbors, whether they are neighbors or something, but 3 men were arguing late in the night, maybe 2 a.m. 3 men are arguing outside. She's in her room. Her lights are probably turned on. And so these 3 men are arguing outside. And then the next thing, one of them is silent. And then it seems like they've killed one of them. Really? And then one of them starts to dig the floor. Maybe they want to bury the guy that they killed. And this girl that should be hiding, for her life, turns on a camera and goes, "Oh, I'm in the house right now. 3 men are arguing." And then she's telling us the story. And she turns off her lights. You know that, as you're turning off your lights, someone would notice. It's night, and someone would notice when that light goes up. And he says they pause for a while, and she's like, they've paused. And then she turns off her light and then proceeds to video them.
Kind of risk.
I'm saying that because, she's living alone as a single lady. I'm saying there are conversations we are not having. Women are not growing up because if you're mature enough, you shouldn't be doing something like that. If you're in danger, you're literally in danger.
And you're not in Nigeria.
Yes.
Our investigators, they don't used to do DNA. So
they don't used to do DNA.
They don't used to do that.
So there is emotional stability, there's financial stability, there's mental readiness for a lot of things. And we're not talking about these things. We are just talking about age. We are just saying, you are 30 and all of that. You are pushing your children away because you
does
think,
not mean that they even have that full. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, that's this thing. The conversations we are not having are conversations on readiness,
Yes.
conversations on desire, conversations on genuine connection, even conversations on God's feeling.
Yeah.
Do you understand? There's how your God tells you. There's how your body will tell you. I think it's just a general defense mechanism. Because when you think about it, it makes sense that women have that. Because
there's this
we don't have that
instinct women
physical
have, yes.
You don't have the
strength.
strength.
So we have the
So
sixth
you
sense.
make up with the sense.
So it's like some people are not able to even trust their sixth sense. Because there's almost every negative situation, it will tell you, like, you feel the discomfort. A lot
That's
of people
true.
ignore this, disobey this, and just
get into trouble.
You know. And another thing, that conversation of readiness and even that desire, you know. There's one thing my mom will always tell me, like, if I ever talk to any guy, my mom will ask me, like, do you genuinely feel this is a safe person? Do you genuinely feel that this is a genuine person? Do you genuinely feel a connection with this person? You understand? Is it just based on you feel it's a nice, not time, it's a nice person? Like, you know how you can feel someone is nice and you're like, this would make a good
Even if
partner.
you're not having that connection, but you're just
it's
thinking
like
nice.
there's so many things my mom tends to check with me when there's anybody that's interested in me romantically, and I tell her about it. And I feel a lot of people don't have these conversations with their mothers or with their parents.
I mean, that relationship is not there. You know, you talk to your mom.
I talk to my mom. I talk to my dad.
Actually have that open conversation. Do you know have the typical African mom? You know the typical African mom, yeah? You will just be like, mommy, you don't know the one she will shout. You don't know the one she will back at you, you know?
I mean, I thank God
so unapproachable,
my own mom is not like that. Seriously. My mom will tell you, Amy, this particular person, how well do you know this guy? How well do you know this person? You don't just jump into... My mom tell me, before you go into marriage, I need to be sure, convicted. I will not tell you, you must marry this one. Make your own choice. And then you should be sure, because when you're going there, it's your choice. So nobody's the one pushing you. But then, we still have mothers who, first of all, want to make the choice and decision. There's one girl who, I think she did her traditional marriage. I saw it online. Then she cancelled the marriage few days to the wedding. She said her mom arranged a guy abroad for her. And then the mom said that's the person she'll be getting married to. And this one, they've done the CM and everything. So there are some mothers that...
because I know it's looking like... I'm wondering what's going on.
I love how you just wear your emotions. The moment something just...
Like, what's going on here?
And there are some mothers too that are just so rigid. To them, they feel it's discipline. But then there's a way you discipline and then you're just destroying the whole thing. Then this child tends to hide things from you. When you discipline, or let me say overprotective of a child, that child might tend to hide things. There are some parents, you can't even tell them about your relationship status. The only thing you do is bring the person when you're ready for marriage. Mommy, this is the person I'm getting married to. And that's just it. So you don't talk about relationship.
But this is the reality of most young women. Yeah. This is the reality of most young women. Nobody's telling you that you should pay attention to your God's feeling. Nobody's telling you that you should pay attention to the connections that you have with this person. Nobody's telling you to ask certain questions.
Telling you to even address yourself mentally. I said, what someone always tell me about? You're not ready. You're not even ready to even date. You're not even ready for common boyfriend. You know, she'll always give me checks on things in my character, things in my personality that will generally not even make me even compatible with someone. You understand? Right now, you know, tell me that if a relationship is something that I do want to pursue, a marriage or anything, there are some things I do need to check up on myself. And, you know, just even being mentally and emotionally ready for those types of things and those types of sacrifices.
Sacrifice.
So it's like people don't even give that movie that I even told you about. There were so many opportunities that girl's parents had to talk to her. When she was small, she said her father asked her what she wanted from Christmas. She said that she wants bigger boobs so a boy will notice her. And the father was like, The father just carried cigarettes and he's smoking. Like, what's wrong? But he didn't say
You should have
anything.
spoken
He
to
didn't
her
address
about it. Yeah.
He didn't tell her. You know, she also had another similar situation. Her mom caught her. They just scolded her. They just shouted at her. They didn't address
Didn't
it.
say
They
anything,
didn't talk to her about it. When she even at the point where they caught her kissing a boy. That guy that got her pregnant, that night that she met him, they were kissing, and her best friend was also kissing her own babe. And then the father caught them. The father scolded, shouted, grounded, did every punishment, but didn't
never talked to her
never
about
sat
it.
her down.
Yeah.
Her mom didn't do it too. They just felt like the punishment and the shouting was all that was needed. And all of a sudden, she's pregnant at 15, and her entire life derailed from there. She couldn't go to college. She couldn't go for prom. She couldn't complete high school. There were so many things that she couldn't do, and she held that resentment and took it out on her child.
Wow.
So it's like little things like this can turn into big things that can turn into people's entire future.
Yes.
Someone's entire life can lie on literally just your parents
Talking
having said something, having done something.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel sitting a child down and talking to that child is far more better than the whole shouting, flogging, and beating.
No, it's not
children.
like I would always say the reactionary punishment that just makes you shout and beat the child and calm down.
Yeah.
This child needs to understand why you are even beating them.
Yes,
why you are even angry about this situation. Why not? Whether you want to beat them or not, or when you're done beating them, why not sit them down and say, see why I flogged you here? This thing you did never do it like this. If you continue like this, see where you are going to end up.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. Talk to your children about these things. Let them be free to talk to you about stuff when they are concerned. Yeah. That's what I feel like most Nigerian homes, most African homes don't have. Yeah. We lack that a lot. I mean, maybe 30 out of 100 or even far less that have such cordial relationship between parents and children, where the parents can walk in or where the child can walk in, or where the child can be doing something and the parent shows up and they don't run away. Because most children will run away. I mean, as soon as my dad is here, my dad,
especially the fathers.
And then before you know it, they've hid every evidence and nothing. You can't find anything about it. So yeah. So I think it helps, when they start talking about this, especially when a girl gets to that point. You're going to be telling her, oh, how do you feel about these things? Have you talked about this matter? Have you talked about spiritual alignment? Have you talked about how you people are going to do finances? Have you talked about whether the person wants children or not? How many do they want? You know, have you talked about all of those things?
The sex education also, you can talk to the child about sex. Don't just lie to a child and say if they touch you, you get pregnant. If someone touches the child now, pregnancy is not there. The child will continue. And that's the now. There are some parents that
do that a lot, but I think
you,
some of them
pregnant.
are doing better now. Sex education is not about if they touch you, you get pregnant. All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
So I think this is my last question. Have we glorified endurance in marriage to the point of ignoring women's pain?
Endurance is really glorified. In fact, if you can endure marriage, you are seen as let me say hero.
You can endure marriage.
No, that is just the whole thing. If you can endure marriage to the end, then you are hero.
That's what we are saying.
You receive a crown.
There's no place for going out.
They'll just praise you.
Yes, you can never leave that
everything,
marriage,
all the society,
take another option.
Even sometimes the religion will kind of want to preach religion in the sense that marriage in the sense that if you're submissive, and that's what they call the submissiveness, you're beating, you're quiet. Whatsoever the abusive you're going through, just be calm. That shows you're submissive and you're holding on to your faith. And whereas it's supposed not to be so. So the whole endurance of the thing is glorified. They just take it as one big thing women should do. And that's
sometimes, there are times that women are not even being beaten, like maybe I think like this lady that died, that was maybe killed recently by the husband. I don't think she was being physically abused constantly. But there's this in the news it was said that the husband tried to cut her off from her family.
He did, not just try.
Okay, cut her off from the family. So the family doesn't have access to her. And then he started to maybe transfer her assets to himself. And then when she tried to question that, I think that's what
she was poisoned.
Got her to that point, because she was questioned. So sometimes it's not even maybe physical abuse. Sometimes it's mental, emotional torture, and because of the state of everything, because of the way the tradition frowns at a woman who leaves her home, who leaves her marriage, the woman is forced to align with tradition, to align with the expectations of family and all of that. And even when they are dying, even when they are going through a whole lot, they can't find anyone that would back up that idea that they should leave. Very few women go to the point of succeeding to leave their homes and just damn the consequences.
There is this lady who said her parents, that they've been keeping malice for 8 years. But they're in the same house. The mother is not talking to the dad is not talking to the mother. The children are there. The parents, they are there, sleeping in the same room, and they're keeping malice for 8 good years. People were like, no, but she said,
one day somebody will wake up and kill someone.
Yeah. 8 years, and you're not saying good morning, like nothing. That's like
just ignore each other.
That's mental.
And they may even be getting pregnant. Inside that 8 years. They may even be getting pregnant, adding children to it, because
no, wait, they don't know to do it, just to tap.
Yes, just tap. Oh, let me just because I know go outside, so they will get pregnant.
It's not making any sense. Seriously. Endurance should not be glorified. Seriously.
Yeah.
And I think the whole thing can be avoided if we can make better choices. And it's not just about making better choices, taking care of your own self. Because if you have value, people that are worth your value will be the ones to come your way, not just anyhow persons. But that's still notwithstanding, because that lady you talked about, she was someone of high value, but then she met with someone that is
I value.
Nothing to
I value. I am of the opinion that all of the troubles that happens in marriage can be avoided if you just first do not even get into it the way you got into it.
Yeah.
Because once you get into it, there's no changing anything.
Yeah.
All of the things that you could have changed, you needed to change it before you got into it.
So
If you needed to marry someone who is emotionally stable, a man that can, because somehow people get angry. But there are people who get angry and then they hit you. There's no other way around it. Because when they start shouting, they need to hold something. They need to hold something to express themselves. But there are people who actually get angry and they go like, okay, I'm not going to get into this situation. They will just walk away from that place.
Yes.
Yeah, I grew up to think that men would normally walk away from such situation. But I realized that most men are not doing that.
Because they know, I don't even know how to describe it. There's this video I saw of this girl. She was like 25. She was talking as one thing she realized that a lot of these older men come to us younger women as a retirement plan for them to get old and have you take care of them. Because last, the primary role people see in a woman is to take care, is to be there. They don't want to die alone. Do you understand? Yeah, they are scared of dying alone. They are scared of not having someone. Seriously, they're scared of not having, even if it is with someone that they hate, they will put up with it for the sole purpose of having someone there when they are passing away, or having someone taking care of them when they are old. That's literally just it.
Just like this topic, from bride to prisoner, most brides now are prisoners. Seriously, they are just the day of the happiness is just that first day.
Yeah, because they're getting most married. Brides pay more attention to the marriage ceremony,
the wedding.
Everybody's paying attention to how is the cake going to look? Oh, my cake needs to be 3 or 4 or 10 years. When I come out, it should be like this. Who is going to make my dress? Everybody's paying attention to that. Nobody's telling you, oh, look, if you do like this. My pastor used to say something. He said you should marry someone in your generation.
Yes.
Marry people in your generation. If if you pass your generation, enter another generation, just know you have married your father, then the standards are different. Yeah, if you cross as maybe a 20-something year old, you go to 40-something, just know that marriage is different.
Yeah.
It's definitely different. And of course, it's not like, okay, it's like, what's her name? This actress that married that senator, wasn't it? Yeah, Regina. You know that arrangement is definitely different. Yeah. But if you marry someone in your generation, there are certain discussions you can have without stress. But if you marry your father's mate, you understand that you are going to have to talk gently. You can't raise your voice at your father.
Like you'll be having father issues. Like that is literally your dad. Because I know seriously,
because him anyhow.
So my dad now, Daddy, see what you did. I don't like it. I have made my decision. You do not have any say. I am the one. That is the exact same way. My father, because I can't imagine being in that situation forever. You know, I want to be able to be part of certain decisions. I want to be an active part. Not something that I'll leave my father's house and go to father 2.0.
Someone that you just rub the head.
You have to rub his head.
Something that's supposed to be love. Why you're rubbing the head?
Your husband will come back and say, "Good evening, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Let me come. No, because you can't even say we are equals, because if you say
no,
even
not.
age,
most definitely not equals. Yes.
You will just use his age as you know.
Age is just a number. Age is just a number.
And if he has a daughter, if he had a daughter from a previous life, he'd be like, you don't know. My last born is older than you. My last born is older than you, and you're doing this in my house.
You sugar that the guy wound you.
This clothes that you're wearing, who bought it for you? This shoe, this house that you're standing.
And they will caution you like the daddy that they are, and you must act like the child.
Are things that they should actually pay attention to.
Yeah.
But if you are settling with, can he pay my bride price? Can he afford the list?
Do you know, I also hear
a great party?
That older men tend to take care of girls more than
you go and
actually, yes. But it's still coming from that same daddy perspective.
Yeah,
but they'll take care of you. They'll take care of you like you're their daughter.
Their child. Yes.
But when it comes to anything serious, you're not put in that conversation. You're not put
and they are the ones to make the whole decision.
When you really think about it, your opinions truly don't matter at the end of the day. Like as a child, your opinions, especially in an African home, your opinions tend to not actually matter. What you're wearing, what you're eating, you get most of that is up to your parents, whether they want to listen to you or not. They choose when they want to listen to you, and to be the same situation.
Can we raise women to value their happiness over
the wedding, for sure,
over the marriage?
Sure,
we need to start having this conversation.
This wedding
about
is just one day.
Because it's a one-day thing, and all of the energy you put. Sincerely, we tend to put more emphasis on how that day is gonna go.
Yeah,
you know, sometimes I have to. I meet with a young woman who is about to get married, and then the list is like overboard, and I'm like, if you can influence this list, influence it, because I mean, once you're done here, everybody leaves you. Once you've paid, everybody has left, and you are left. Now, my in-law used to say, reality will now unfold. Yes, the real thing has started. So because once you've left here, everybody has left, and then you are back to where you came from. Honestly, and then maybe you've spent all the money, and there's shishi. Una two go just be quarrel.
No, that some people take
loans. Be quarreling for. Yes, I'm aware. There are people who actually. I knew a couple like that who had to take loans, and for a couple of months after the wedding, they were still paying off the loan.
That's true.
For heaven's sake.
And the happiness will be there now.
One of my friend's cousins, I think, she got married abroad, and she just married in a court, and then had a white dress and took pictures with her husband. And that's in the UK. So, you know, it was a financially stable, financially sane decision. She wasn't getting married and seeing their wedding day. You know, I feel people that do their marriages like that they tend to be very practical. It's just a day. You know, and we have how many years of our lives to be with each other. This is literally, you know, I feel most times weddings are just for like that whole It's mainly for the bride. That whole ceremony of, getting. I feel anybody that wants
Well,
to
me, I
do
feel if you have the
something.
money, you can do it. But cut your
You're
coat
saying
according to your
don't
clothes.
prioritize that particular.
That
Yeah, it doesn't
wedding,
have to.
yes,
There's nothing
yes.
wrong with you. You are not less than. You are not
Yeah.
broke. You're not somehow. In fact, if you decide to do according to your funds, you're intelligent. You're smarter than those
Yeah,
ones that are
Yeah.
borrowing money.
that's what
That's a
it takes
sign
a
of.
level of intelligence
It
to
says
agree that you
level
can.
of
For someone to
intelligence,
even borrow
maturity
money,
too.
Yes.
for someone to borrow money for wedding, that should the person is not okay. Because why will you borrow money? Like you take loan
Yeah, you
for
take a
wedding.
loan. You know,
you know?
there was a young man I knew once. I used to work at one of the banks I was banking with, so we became friends. And he was about getting married, and then he told me, he said he's about to hire a bus to carry the staff to all the way to the north, and then the bus was going to cost him over 100, about 200,000 to take them there and bring them back. I looked at him. And then he was talking about all of the expenses he had to meet. And then he was asking, I sure kept quiet. I said, why are you making all of these expenses? I mean, if your colleagues really want to come, let them find their way.
Yeah.
Like, why are you having to add to your troubles? Like, are you enjoying it? Guess what? This guy got married, and maybe like 2-3 months later, he chats me up and he wants a loan. I say, I ain't giving you no loan. I ain't giving you no loan. There's no way I'm giving you loan because I advised you before to do it according to your pocket. You refuse. So there is no way I'm giving you. So you understand that a lot of people are in that place where the ceremony is actually focused on more because if we are not having this conversation about what shall we be doing after we get married, how will we be managing our funds, how are the children going to cope, how many children are we looking at, who is going to be in charge of this, who is going to be taking care of this, who has the skills to manage this. I mean, these are practical questions people should be talking about when they are courting or when they are trying to get married, but everybody's like, oh, in that marriage I want my cake to be from
I said,
this side. I want my gown to be
my
from
mom said,
US.
My mom said there is this man, he was giving 4 million naira grant, this government grant, like put it in business. So if they return and see the business, they can now add 4 million naira again to him to now boost everything. So when they gave the man 4 million naira, he took 2 million naira and did one small thing, and then 2 million naira to get married.
Yeah.
And then the day
On top of loan.
that day,
Top of
they
grant.
said you just serve yourself.
Aye.
Assorted meals here and there. Everybody, they were just celebrating. It was like, look at this boy, this young person. Someone think he's nothing, but look at me, look at my marriage now. But after the wedding, when those guys came back, Oga, where is the thing you did? They started bringing up stories. I was this, that. They left him. And the wife left him after 5 months. He said, I cannot continue in poverty. I've not entered and I'm already starting.
Okay.
Because this was what the man was supposed to use as means. What people were telling him at least. He would have used this money. Use it for something beneficial. And if you have that money, you can now get married to this lady in a very nice way.
Even if you
according
wanted to
your
say
pocket.
he'll use 2 million for the wedding and 2 million for an assured investment or something. Because if we said 2 million and did in one small, what's this small? What is one thing? Where is the other 2 million? That's my question. That's what I want to know.
So that's what we're saying, that they ought to know the things to make a priority, because eventually women just get into this arrangement and then many months from there they want out.
Yeah.
And of course, society doesn't want you out. You have to.
You need to stay there.
You have to
You
stay to
entered
the
at
very
first,
end.
so
that's why the
remain
beginning
there.
is more important than even the entry. You need to be sure that some of these things are sorted out. Some of these things you have talked about it. They are clear. You're clear about them, because once you get in, there's no changing anybody. There's no trying to make someone conform to
go
your
nowhere.
picture of what you think is what the marriage should look like, if you didn't take that initiative at the beginning.
What do we lose as a society when women stay in abusive or loveless marriages just to avoid shame?
We lose a lot, actually. We lose a lot of stability mentally for the children and for the people involved in that marriage. What happens is that they'll pass down certain patterns, certain behaviors. I will quote this movie again, that I watched, because at the end of that movie, you understand, around that beginning of the movie, the daughter was telling her father, like, she was trying to make her father like, oh, you're the cause of all my problems, oh, this and that and that and that and that. So at the end of that movie, her son went off to college, and her father was now driving her, and she's like, can you believe it that my son is saying that I'm the cause of all his problems, blah 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 blah. Do you see?
Yeah,
That's
the
a pattern.
Yeah,
It's
a
a
pattern
cycle.
has been established.
It has been established. Do you
Yeah.
understand? It's a line of damage. Because I don't know what happened in the father's childhood for him not to believe that addressing these things in his daughter was not something he should do. He just felt punishing and shouting was the right thing to do. Her own, she now had her child. She didn't break the pattern either. She carried that same pattern of not listening to her child, talking to her child, like different things like that.
Yeah.
And he had that same.
And of course, the child will reproduce the
Yeah,
same.
he
know
may,
the
he
next
may reproduce it.
generations
And
now.
that will
Like
happen.
it,
And if we keep on, like, if everybody keeps on to deciding to blindly carry these attitudes and these types of, they'll think these marriages are normal. Because mindset is very, very important. If you think that this is normal, it will be normal to you.
It becomes
It
normal
will
to
become
you.
your reality. If this is what people are always telling you, this is what everybody is saying, if this is what you're saying to yourself too, that is it. That is reality.
That's what it is.
That's the truth.
That's what it is.
Because honestly, if we don't change it, we'll just be stuck in these cycles that help no one.
Yeah.
Nobody's changing, no one is evolving,
Women
no one is happy.
Are getting
people are
killed.
getting abused.
Yeah, people are getting abused.
You understand? People are depressed. People are in relationships that shouldn't have existed in the first place.
Yeah. With people they have no business being with.
They have no business
You know,
even
the
saying
generations
hello.
we are now and the way
Good morning.
things are going is as a result of what was done in the past generation.
Yeah.
And if this is not addressed now, the next generation will be
continuous
worse.
with it, yeah.
So the whole thing dies down to each family. We are the next generation. So for us to change the next generation, we need to start working on ourselves, our marriages. And that's why it is very important for ladies to be sure of the man they are getting married to, because they're about to produce the next generation. So if you don't want to mess with the next generation, then don't mess with your marriage or your choice of marriage.
Yeah.
So
your choice of a partner.
yes, and then we can also, the society also lose in terms of, let's say, the women that are abused. There's some of them that have these creative ideas. They have solutions to so many problems. But there are some that
unstable.
The husband are telling them, you go nowhere, you're just supposed to be indoors, nothing. And they are just there. And that part,
like
because as a result
was
of
saying
that
of the
creativity,
professor that was asked to stay at home.
and that
Your own
creativity is
professor
not
should stay at home.
Professor.
So if it's like that,
and it's the fact that he didn't, it's people that did internet digging to find out her job. He just said it's like it was one little job that wasn't so. Do you get? He was saying it as if his wife was a saleswoman or she was working a corporate job.
Like someone went to nursery school, secondary, university, did masters, PhD, and now became a professor.
And managed to gain that trust, managed to build themselves to the discipline of reaching that level.
That's actually one of the highest levels you can get to academically. Yes.
And that is also financial security for the rest of her life. The rest of that family's life.
Yeah.
You understand? And you're saying, I'm a wrestler now.
They didn't talk about it.
They probably did, but you know, things happen.
Things change. Yeah.
Maybe that wasn't the
maybe
direction.
She wasn't at that level.
Yeah, that wasn't the direction her career was taking at that time. And he was not in a financial place to even say something like that. So they both grew. You know, but him is carrying his own too high on his head and not seeing the value in her staying.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's where it comes to when making choices. I mean, it just boils down to making choices. I mean, be with people who are willing to have talks about these things, who are willing to make little compromise, you know, just adjust for this person to fly and this other person to also fly. Not like, oh, it's me, I'm going to take care of everybody. What if something happens to you and something happens to that your thing that you want to use and take care of everybody? What happens then? You know, the whole family crashes because you just will not make allowance for the other person, you know.
Yeah.
So
and you know, one of that is that marriage is a choice, not a deadline. So don't rush into forever because of pressure.
yeah.
So be sure of the person you're getting married to. Don't just rush, because you see this ring. The ring there is not your worth. It's self-love. And if you love yourself enough, you wait for the right person, because love is not scheduled and marriage shouldn't be forced. So get that, please.
Yeah, you're ready, my dear. Yeah, I think you should listen to her. That's good advice.
So
Yes.
I guess we've come to the end.
So we've come to the end of this particular episode. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
watching till the end. I
Thank
hope
you.
you had a good time. We're expecting your comments. We're
Yeah.
expecting that you would share, share with your friends. Give us a thumbs up. Drop your comments. Share with your friends. We're expecting all of that, all of your feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.